podcast presented by Bet365. We are part of the Action Network. Today is our NFL Week 10 Sunday recap episode. I am Chad Millman. I am joined by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, my co-host, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon. Everyone is here with us watching us sweat the end of this Washington Commanders-Seattle game. People just came in to see the pain and agony in our faces with Ron Rivera having a chance to get a win or give us the cover we need. And instead, he goes for the extra point.
I hate him. We keep saying he's a damn dinosaur, and he really is. He's the worst. And no, Chad, today, this is why I love what we do. I hate it today. It's been miserable. I think I lost every 1 p.m. game, and now I'm looking at hopefully going 4 for 4 in these 4 p.m. games. So that's gambling, baby. It's a never-ending sweat.
It really is. Right now, we are 1-1. We lost the Jags. We won the Lions. We're sweating the Commanders.
That Jags bet.
And we have the Jets and Denver to go. But I do need to set the stage a little bit for how we ended up where we did. Because a lot happened between Thursday when you and I recorded the podcast, and then we made our picks. And Friday night, because everyone knows who listens, Matt Mitchell and I were in Copenhagen last week, and we were in Copenhagen when we recorded the Friday episode. On Friday night, Mitchell and I were part of a large group of people from the Action universe that went to dinner. Our last night in town, it was close to 9 p.m. I'm 2 tequilas, 2 glasses of wine into a 4-course tasting menu. I go to use the boys' room. While at the stall, standing there, my phone buzzes against my better judgment because I don't like to check it when I'm standing at the stall. I checked it, and there's a message on the lock screen, and it's from Simon, and it reads, "Can you call me as soon as possible?" Now, Simon is not prone to hysterics. He's not prone to...
And I'm not a texter.
And he's not a texter.
I don't text.
Yeah. So, like, Simon sending me a text when he knows I'm in Copenhagen, "Can you call me as soon as possible?" My first instinct is that he's in grave physical danger because of something we did on the show.
Always.
And so outside the bathroom door, I call you. And again, I'm in like a semi-loud restaurant, and I call you and you are huffing and puffing. So I'm sure like you are being chased down some street in Hawaii, and for some reason, me in Copenhagen, I am your only lifeline to survival. I say, "Are you all right?" You say, "Yes, I'm just climbing a mountain in Hawaii, but we need to change our picks right away." So what had happened was on Thursday, when we locked in, we were on Cleveland plus 6.5, Cincinnati minus 6.5, Jacksonville plus 3.5, Detroit minus 2.5, Denver 7.5. So I call you back. You're like, "We need to change our picks right away." Explain the first thing you heard. Explain the first thing you heard about Washington.
Yeah. I even the whole week, Chad loved Seahawks, and I was just like, there's something fishy about this number. I didn't get the line all week. And when I called Chad, I basically... a big negative of living in Hawaii. It takes like a year for anything to get out here, any information. So, it's whatever that was, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. I was going for my my hike up Haleakala, the mountainside, and I got no bars. And, I finally get to an area and I get like 15 text messages and 3 missed phone calls. And the first one is just basically someone telling me this so-and-so group is putting down 7 figures on the Washington plus 6.5, grab it before it's gone. So being the good guy I am, before I text any of my runners, anybody, I text Chad first to give me a call because I was like, we got to get this 6.5. I mean, Chad might have taken 5 minutes. This is how quick these lines move. So again, I was delayed getting the information. I text Chad. I sent out my own information. I was only able to get 6s, and like maybe 2 books gave me 6.5s, but I missed the number. When Chad checked our line, it was 5.5. Like that number literally in half an hour had totally moved. And yeah, it's, again, I hear a lot of noise, but there's certain groups, certain guys who are like, they're my idols. They're dudes I put up on a really high pedestal. And when I hear they're making moves, let alone 7-figure moves, it's like I got to hit my guy Chad up. And again, I'm not always gonna be right. I'm gonna make stupid fucking bets. Like I'm an idiot, but you know, I know these contacts. I know the people I deal with, and it's like these guys make these moves. They always know. Like they always have a reason. And I didn't know how it was going to land on 3 or land on 4 in the Seattle game. I don't even know if it's going to. They could still win a touchdown here. This game's happening live. But when these dudes hit me up, and I joke that these guys have time machines, and they're telling me this game's going to land on 3 and 4, grab the 6, grab the 6.5. I'm all in on it. So yeah, Chad, my guy, he trusts me. He knows that like I'm not fucking around, especially if I'm hitting the dude up at 8 a.m. my time. Like that's something I would never do to anybody.
And 9 my time.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and Chad knows I'm always one. I'm okay with waiting for things, but if I know a number's gonna move and I know these dudes are for real, I always try to get us the best of the numbers. So, yeah, like I don't know how they do it, people, and it's final now. They just kicked a field goal, Seattle, and like again, I don't know how they fucking do it, people. Like you guys ask me all the time, how do I get these contacts and these meetings, people?
It's so we covered.
We did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's what I mean, though, is that these guys, they just fucking know. And I don't get it. It'll never make sense. But Chad knows me well enough that, like, I'm going to say dumb shit. I'm going to miss. That Ravens game is a great example of it. Chad was dead on with that. But it was more that Chad just knows I'm trying to protect us. If all their offensive linemen are on the Browns, I can't put them in our contest. Chad knows how much I care about offensive line play. And when I'm hitting him up and I'm just saying to him, like, I don't care that it's 5.5. Remember, Chad, you were like, it's 5.5 now. Should we not take it? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, these dudes are saying it's going to land on 3 or 4. We got to take it no matter what. And I cannot believe this game landed on 3. I don't know how they fucking do it, man. And that's my favorite thing about this job is, like, I'm like all of you. Like, I love it. I'm in this world and I live it. But I'm always shocked about how these dudes know. And, like, that's my favorite part is people are shocked how I know. I don't know either. Like, my model, that Detroit game, I cannot believe that Detroit game landed on 3. And it's just, that's my favorite part about doing this shit. It's like you make a number, you trust the number, bet the lines at 1, bet the lines 1.5, bet the lines at 2, bet the lines at 2.5. The game lands on 3. And it's like, this day sucked. Me and Chad were staring 0-3 in the face.
Oh,
and
God.
Here we are 2-1, brothers. Right on course.
It's so all of a sudden on Friday night, I can barely see. I come out of the bathroom hallway and I tell Matt Mitchell what we're doing. And I go back into favorites.actionnetwork.com to change our contest picks, take Cleveland out, take Cincinnati out, put Washington in. And because we took 2 games out, we had to add 1 more in. So we ended up putting in the New York Jets. So instead of sitting here at 2-2, because with the Broncos to come on Monday night at 7.5, we're now 2-1. We would have won Cleveland. We would have won Detroit. We would have lost Cincy. We would have lost Jacksonville. We'd have Denver left. Now we're 2-1. We got the Jets left. We got the Broncos left.
Just
when
need
I
to go 1-1, baby.
We just need to go 1-1, which I think we can do. And what's interesting? You mentioned. Let me set us up for one more second here. So, by the way, when I did this, Matt Mitchell was in the middle of eating 5 plates of beef tartare by himself. Just want everyone to know.
Poor wife. I can't imagine you crop dusting, man. Woo!
Listen, I had a full date with Matt Mitchell and his wife Corinne. They are lovely, beautiful people. I made them go sightseeing with me in Copenhagen because we had afternoon flights, and they were such troopers. They got out of the hotel. We saw castles and gardens and had a traditional Danish meal. It was amazing. As a reminder, the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why you get more boosts with them than with anyone else. Every day, they power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more. Bet365 boosts specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays, and they don't stop there. Keep an eye out for their biggest and best odds with the incredible Super Boost. Check out the boosts and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Colorado, Iowa, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. Catch every episode of The Favorites live on YouTube. For those enjoying on YouTube, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Okay. Jacksonville, loser. Detroit, winner. Washington, winner. Jets, -0.5. Denver, +7.5. The games we passed, one more time. Cleveland, 6.5. Cincy, 6.5. All right. Let's talk about the Jacks first. Let's get out of the way. It's an interesting team. We just missed it. I mean, I think we were banking on the Jags and the streak they've been on, looking good. We're huge Doug Peterson fans. Doug Peterson teams play better in the second half of the year. We thought there might be lingering issues with Brock Purdy. The Jags did what the Jags have been doing to lose games, which is a lot of bad turnovers. And I think we missed the most important element, which was Deebo Samuel. Like, it's so clear he was out the past 3 games. They lose those games. He's such a weapon, such a multi-tooled weapon from every position, whether he's lining up in the backfield, lining up in the slot, lining up wide. He just makes the key plays and gives Brock Purdy that element that makes him such a better player, right? And so we just missed it. We undervalued Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, and I'll take the blame for this one because I said I wouldn't let us put this in if Trent Williams was back, and he was back, and I still let us put it in. So, yeah, that was total blind spot by me. But like I said, I was terrible today. Like, my 1 p.m. picks were horrible. I could not pick a winner. Thank God we only had one in the contest because it's like I just said, I went 4-4 in the late games, and that's the difference right now for us. Where, got away from what got us here, these divisional jogs. Like, I shouldn't have doubted Chad on that Cleveland number, but the worst one, again, I feel bad for people that listen to the show. It's like, I love the Bengals, and then like Chad said, I hit him up. I told him I'm out on the Bengals because I thought there was gonna be no Chase and no Higgins. So, got really lucky. Didn't matter, right? Chase played, scored a touchdown, had a great game, but got out of that game. Another game I liked early in the week that we avoided, the Saints. I love the Saints.
Yes.
Heard from really sharp people they liked Minnesota. I'm like, all right, I'll keep my bet in. I'll have my bets on it, but I'm not going to bet it more. And I didn't even bring it up to chat for our contest. We wake up this morning, Chris Raybon's on the Vikings as well. And it's just like, okay, so that was a good read. The only one we missed on, which I think, I don't blame us for it because we're big into luck rankings, was Pittsburgh. Like, we liked Pittsburgh. We talked Sunday night about Pittsburgh. Everything we said about Green Bay feels like it was true. That, like, Jordan Love, if you need him to drive the field at the end of a game, you have no confidence, you have no faith. And I almost ate those words because the guy almost drove the field to win the game at the end. But it is what it feels like. We kind of at this point of the season, right, Chad? We kind of keep saying these teams are what they are, right?
Yeah.
And every week's a little different. But everyone feels the same. How did we not take Dallas? We knew exactly how the game was going to go. I said our Sunday morning, I told you, I didn't know a single professional, not one professional. All the people I talked to said the Giants this week. So I didn't know a single person that had money on the Giants. And that should have been a telltale sign. So, really pissed I kept the Jaguars in because there was other games we had in the back of our mind. And it just, I should have known better, right? Because like you just said, the 49ers have been playing bad. They were due for having a good game. They're a really good team. And the Jaguars on the other side, they were due for a bad game. Like, they had been winning all these really close games, and I think they'd won 5 straight or 6 straight up to that point. Everything went wrong in that game, right? They had all bad turnovers, bad fumbles, bad penalties. Their defense was getting stops. It was still 10-0, then it was 10-3, and their defense was still getting them the ball back. And Trevor just couldn't put a drive together. He just completely did not have it today. So, sorry, everyone. That was a horrible bet.
It's interesting. Trevor Lawrence, there are times there's a big difference to me between the development of Trevor Lawrence, the development of Jalen Hurts, the development of Justin Herbert, like even the development of Tua. He has yet to rise to the level of being discussed as an elite quarterback yet. And I think we keep waiting for him to get there. We keep saying
he has flashes.
He has flashes, but like, he's not putting it together. And also, when you watch him throw, he doesn't throw with the same velocity, the same accuracy that guys like Justin Herbert or Tua in terms of accuracy do. Like
They're
in
older
terms of
though. They've been in the
development.
league. They've been in the league longer. I'm with you though. Like I'm disappointed in what Trevor did today, but at the same time, it's like I still gonna keep giving him time because he has the body frame, the talent, the arm talent, the head, and he has the coaching, Doug Peterson. But I'm with you. Like I feel like we keep seeing him in big games, not living up to the moments. And this was a big game today. Like you want to measure yourself against the best teams in the
Yeah.
league. And now, like, obviously they won't see each other in the playoffs. They're in different divisions, but is it not going to make you more hesitant to take him against a team like, say, if they have to play Houston in the first round? And Houston's a team that today went on the road, had a huge win, and CJ just keeps coming from behind the end of these games and having these drives. And it's like, that's what I'm agreeing with you about, where it's like Trevor's not having these moments that
Yeah.
CJ is. And CJ's kind of guy now where it's like, I mean, I don't want to beat up these Carolina Panthers fans, but it's like you missed the once in every 5 to 10 year guy. And that's got to be sickening to you because the shit CJ's doing as a rookie, like you don't see guys at 4 or 5 years in the league do these kind of things back-to-back weeks. So it is
CJ
crazy
has
right now.
been CJ has been he's the kind of player where it doesn't matter the scenario, whether he's dropping back or scrambling. Every time he throws the ball, you believe before the camera gets to where the ball is going that the player he's throwing to is wide open or the ball is going to be absolutely pinpoint perfect.
Well, I just love you threw that really bad pick that was almost a pick six.
Came right back.
Exactly. And I told you, like, we did a ranking a couple years ago with Cowherd, and that was my rankings about guys who can throw pick sixes and just bounce back. And like, he's got that moxie as a rookie. It's mind blowing. Like, I just, man, I really hope Houston doesn't ruin this guy in the future because they really do have such a rare talent. Like, the kid is just so cool. It's crazy. Like, really is. Like, today's games are so much fun, and if he keeps playing this way, I mean, obviously he'll run Rookie of the Year, but how can you not talk about him for MVP? Like, you think
Dude,
about
it's in my notes. I wrote it down. I'm like, do we have to have a conversation right now about
we might have to.
CJ Stroud as MVP?
Yeah, because it's again, it's really hard to be consistent in football, especially as teams get more film on you and they start prepping defenses to take away what you like to do. And the fact that this kid keeps producing, I mean, you saw Tampa's D today, right? Tampa
Yeah.
completely dominated Tennessee, right? Is Tampa's defense really that bad or is CJ this good? And that's the hardest thing where it's like, I'm trying to guess what this kid's going to be like. And it's like, well, since he's got a good D, they should be able to scheme up and step up against him. No, like the guy threw for over 300 yards. And yeah, I really do look at this year where all these teams are kind of equal, right? And all these teams are like right there neck and neck. And, last week was Lamar's week and he was the MVP. And then he loses. And there's always a next guy up, right? This whole season, everyone's so close. If you're a writer and he gets them either shockingly, they could do it, win the division, or gets them the 5th seed or 6th seed in the AFC, they really should have a serious talk about CJ for MVP because he's changed that whole identity of that team in a couple of months. It's incredible. Like, it really is incredible what this kid's doing.
Kudos to Brandon Anderson, who in one of our preview shows for the Favorites podcast predicted that the Texans would win the AFC South. All right, the other game, one of our winners today, Detroit -2.5 at the Chargers. Like you said, we talked about it last Sunday. The number was 1, betted at 1, betted at 2.5, put it in the contest. Very chalky, did not get the best of the number in the contest. You know what's funny? You say you were sweating this game. I never was nervous about this game. This felt like a backyard, whoever has the ball last, better coach wins kind of game.
It was because of the refs, though. The refs, man.
I was never sweating this game.
But
Never.
the refs were brutal in a couple of games today, but they were really bad in this one. And anytime the Chargers needed a new first down or another set to go, they kept getting the call they needed. Not all of them was BS, right? The refs were making the right calls, but a lot of them were very ticky-tack. And, the Lions look like the much better team, but this is what I'll never get about Herbert, man. How does Herbert have this game and then other games he can't make the throws? Like, oh, man, he's just a frustrating guy. And, they're wasting his career. Like, Ben Johnson, the guy on the other side of the ball, the Lions OC, him or Eric Bellenemy, like the OC for Washington. That's all the Chargers need to do is go hire one of those guys to be the new catch coach. And it's nothing against Matt Moore. I think Matt Moore has done great with the scheme and everything he's doing with Kellen Moore with this team. But you know, I can't get over how much wasted time we have here with Herbert. Like, you look at his record this year and his career, he's barely 500, right? I think we saw some stat like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I hated betting against them today. Like, it was nerve wracking, especially like, you know, see him making those big time throws. But like you said, the Lions, they're the juggernaut. They break the rules. I mean, you'll never catch me betting on an 80% public bet road favorite, right? That's so rare for me. It's got to be the right situation of the Chargers have no home field advantage. And I don't know why, but this Lions team is a short favorite. I think Evan gave us a stat about how they just cover. Like, they're really good at being road chalk. And Evan just put in our chat, Herbert, 29-30 straight up in his career, dude. 29-30. Like, a guy that me and you both had in our top 10, top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. So pretty embarrassing to that whole organization.
A guy we bet on 25-1 to lead the league in,
don't talk about that. Don't talk
passing
about that.
yardage.
Don't talk
Dan
about that.
Campbell in his career, 34-21. So he's basically 62% against the spread. 115 NFL coaches have had 50 plus games of experience since 1990. Dan Campbell now has the best ATS win percentage of all of them. Jared Goff continues to be the most profitable.
I thought you were going to do Dennis Allen after that, which would have been funny. He's like 140th.
oh yeah, we know that already.
Spread.
It's funny. Like, the Saints, to me, we talked about this in the show. I don't think we were ever going to put him in the contest. We were so opposed on that.
No.
Like, yeah.
I liked it, but I'm saying I just by Saturday morning I had heard like a bunch of people were coming on this Vikings team, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just missing it. So luckily we didn't even talk about that this morning.
Jared Goff continues to be the most profitable quarterback in the NFL the past 5 years.
So good.
20-6 against the spread the last 2 seasons.
Crazy.
And you can't help but love this team.
Yeah.
They're
like, so fun.
Dan Campbell going for it consistently on 4th down inside the 5. It's just because he has so much. There's such a difference between the way Brandon Staley goes for it on 4th down and the way Dan Campbell goes for it on 4th down. Dan Campbell will do it and then will call a play that tells you, I believe in you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Brandon Staley will do it, and someone will call a play because he's not calling the offensive plays that basically says, I'm nervous and I'm tight. And like, I think at one point it was a 4th and 5 or 3rd and 9, and they called a run and was basically saying, block the fuck out of people, guys, and we'll get the 1st down. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, they're an awesome team to watch. Now they're 7-2, and it's hard not to look at the NFC and think, okay, the class of the NFC right now is the Eagles and the Lions. And the Lions are actually playing a little bit better and probably healthier than the Eagles right now.
I still got them 3rd. I still got the Eagles, 49ers, them like literally a hair ahead of Dallas. So if it's Dallas, I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but who the hell are the Lions to be getting respect in the playoffs somewhere they haven't been in like years? If the Lions are more than 2.5, 3 favorite over Dallas, guys, you already know I'm gonna be on Dallas. Like, that's gonna be too much respect to this Lions team, even in a home playoff game. So I do get where you're coming from. They have a chance to be the 1 seed. I mean, that to them, that has to be everything, because I mean, I might make them a 4.5, 5-point dog in Philadelphia in January, and I probably would make them the same number in San Francisco. So they have to get that 1 seed, or they're dead. Like, they have to get that 1 seed. They need Goff indoors at home. Like, we've seen the splits, him indoors versus outdoors. Yes. We've seen the difference between him at home than outdoors. They got to get the 1 seed. So like the Lions, that win this week, not that it dictated their whole season, but they couldn't lose this game. They needed to beat a good team on the road. And now you look at the rest of their schedule. I mean, especially in your division, like you need that. You need that for them. They got an easy division. They needed to win this kind of road game. So yeah, Lions fans, cloud nine. I mean, don't listen to assholes like me. You would think your team's the best team in the NFC. Believe it. Like you guys are playing like the best team. It's just I got to be real with you. It's just if golf is outdoors in January, I am not betting on that, man.
Love, love. As we've said, the NFL is better with Dan Campbell in it. And I feel like we're going to get, because of this season, we're going to get at least 2 to 3 more years of Dan Campbell. All right. So the recap for other picks: Foxhole, Jacksonville +3. Simon Says Cincinnati -6.5.
Terrible.
Executive Decision, Cleveland +6.
Winner.
Our big balls is the Jets +1.
Survivor. Is it really? Here we go.
Yeah. I think we got that, right? Matt, is that when we talked about it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Survivor is Dallas. Round robin, Jets, Jags, no. Cleveland, yes. Minnesota, yes. So we got a chance to go 4 out of 5 here.
No, round robin's been good this year, even though it's been tough with these dogs outright. We've had a nice run with these round robins.
All right. The lean for tonight, we've said it many times. We're on the Jets. We got the Jets in the contest. Go Jets. Anything to add there?
Yeah, we need it. We need the Jets defense to show up. I mean, talk about a day where betting bad quarterbacks. And we need Zach Wilson to come through or Russell Wilson here.
Monday Night Football. The line has moved in our direction. We got it at 7.5. Denver +7.5 against Buffalo. I mean, I'm not going to bet it at 7, but I loved it at 7.5. And I think the fact it's moved in our direction says everything we need to know about why we liked it at 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it works out. Like we talked about it, the number didn't make sense. It felt too big, and the Bills are they're banged up on defense. They're really, still one of the best teams in football on offense, but defensively, how can you have faith in them to get stops, let alone when they're trying to cover a 7.5 number? That's such a huge number. So hopefully me and Chad aren't stepping in it like we did with Jaguars. Like that number felt way too big too. But yeah, 100% feels good that it's down to 7 now at most books. If you missed it and you're still trying to make a choice, I do have this at 6, so I am showing value right now on the Bills. On Denver. But yeah, I feel bad telling you to bet it because me and Chad both have been betting the 7.5 all week. So do with what you want, but I wouldn't let the 7 scare me off.
Simon, can you name the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States?
Game Time.
That's right. It's our sponsor, Game Time. I like Game Time for 2 reasons. 1, they sponsor this show. Number 2, because I actually use Game Time to buy tickets. They've got amazing last-minute deals on all sorts of tickets, including pro and college football games. Speaking of which, I'm actually going to open Game Time right now from my house here in Connecticut, back in Connecticut, not in Copenhagen. Look what I see. College basketball in full force. I can get in to see the St. John's basketball team coached by legendary coach Rick Pitino for less than $50 tomorrow night. No matter where you live, download the Game Time app, get out and have some fun this week. Go sweat your bets live and in person. You can redeem code favorites for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, just download the app, enter code favorites for $20 off. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. Early week 11 spots. Simon, earlier in the show, we talked about these division dogs. We talked about the opportunity to bet division dogs. You want to bet division dogs on a regular basis because all of the numbers say bet division dogs. Next week, the Buys, the Falcons, the Colts, the Patriots, the Saints. Any bets you've made already?
No, just because honestly we were watching that Washington game to the last minute. So I really haven't. I mean, I just opened up the app. I'm looking at the lines now. Yeah, it's tough because a couple ones that jump out. I feel like I might be able to get better value down the road. Like the Rams are plus 2.5 right now against Seattle at home. That's going to go up, right? Like
Yeah.
without knowing if Stafford's going to play or not and who the quarterback will be of the Rams. But that's interesting. They hung a line. So, again, I tell you guys all the time, they take small bets right now. Like they're not taking anything over, $1,000 on these bets for the most part. So, that to me is really jumps out. Like you can get Seahawks right now for under a field goal against. I mean, who is the quarterback of the Rams? Do you even know? Because
Uh,
I think they cut Brett Rippon, didn't they?
and
And they
they
added
signed
Carson Wentz.
and they signed Carson Wentz, and we're all hearing the same thing, that the expectation is he's going to be a starting quarterback for the
So
Los
like I
Angeles
want to
Rams.
I want to fade the Seahawks here, because I think they're fraudulent. But am I not supposed to take that 2.5? That's what sucks. Like I feel like I'm supposed to take the Seahawks and I can buy on my position later if it is Stafford. And obviously I'm gonna love the Rams, like a home divisional dog in that spot. That's a nice spot for the Rams. But
Well, it's divisional week. Look, it's Tennessee plus 6 at Jacksonville, and like it's Mike
mm,
Vrabel in a spot.
it's already up to 6.5.
Well, great. Then let's hold on, because like this is no different than betting Washington plus 6 in Philly. Do you know what I mean?
It
Like, as
is
if
though,
you're
just because it's a rookie. You have to keep remembering these quarterbacks now, and that's why, like again, you're trying to get me on Tennessee this past week, and I wouldn't let you, and it was just because CJ is the unicorn, right? CJ's we got to throw him out, but these rookies, Todd Bowles' defense completely shut this kid down. Like Tampa completely dominated Tennessee today, and you'll see that with these rookies where it's like, yeah, they might flash and pop and make all right throws, but every game you're putting up more film and they can track where it's like, okay, Will Levis throws 90% of his balls to the middle of the field. Let's just put everyone in the middle of the field and make him throw outside. He couldn't throw the ball outside. And it's like little things like that. Again, I don't know if that's what they did to him, but I'm saying that's how these teams take these quarterbacks away. So at first glance, I get where you're coming from. Vrabel is a big divisional dog. Just wait. I think this could keep going up, brother. I think you might be able to get 7.
What about Pittsburgh plus 3.5 this week against Cleveland?
It's +4 on Bet365.
Well, there
So
you go.
I'm grabbing it. Especially that Browns huge emotional win like they just had. We know Pittsburgh, they muddy the water. They bring you down in the mud and they make you play in these close, ugly games. And
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with the guys. They keep saying they're the luckiest team, but me and you joked. It's like they were the luckiest team in 2019, the luckiest team in 2020, luckiest team, whatever it was last year. At what point do you say it's not luck? It's just really good coaching. And that's just what they are, right? With Tomlin at the helm.
Yeah. That's exactly what
But
it
yeah, I
is.
like that you went to that one. I definitely am with you. I'm in line with you on that Pittsburgh number.
The other one that I looked at, which I hate,
Yeah.
and there's part of me that thinks I might want to bet the other side. Historically, we'd play the Bears plus 9 against the Lions, but like the Lions have been
You're a sick dog.
the
You a sick
Lions have been
dog.
so good at home.
Just wait
But
though. They'll keep going up. People are gonna put that in teasers. I think I'll
also,
hit 10.
we think Justin Fields is going to come back.
I'm hoping. I mean, I really am. Like,
You know,
um,
but those were and then the other one that stuck out to me, Houston, which was
here
at
we go.
4 an
Here we
hour
go.
ago, is now at 5 against Arizona.
Now it's 5.5 at Bet365. So I'm just waiting. Give me Kyler at 6. I mean, I guess some pushback would be like, he did look different today. Like, right. I'm used to seeing old Kyler, and to me, it's just him being rusty. And I think he'll get more comfortable as the games go along here. But we saw the flash, like the moment where like, he's about to get sacked and he does that huge loop and he runs 30 yards across the field and makes a bunch of guys miss and then throws the ball down the field. It's like, that's why this guy was the number 1 pick. Kyler has so much unique and unusual skill set. I think people just forget. And like no one was watching that game today, right? I'm the only one that bet that over that Arizona Atlanta game. So I had that on my big TV and like I'm locked in on it. And Arizona does stink. But Chad just said it. We're getting them at a really big number here. Like this is too big. we've seen this Houston team play close, right? They usually play down to their competition. I mean, they lost to Carolina Panthers. They played a really close game against the Buccaneers. Like, I'm with you, Chad. Like, to me, I'm going to bet this 5.5 just in case it does go down. But like, if this gets the 6, it's been a couple weeks, but this might be one of my bigger bets if this gets up to 6, because that's just too much respect to CJ and this Houston team, where I do think they're really good and he's incredible, but come on, man. Like, him catching 6 against Kyler, like, that's too much disrespect to Kyler.
That's the Texans might be one of those teams that has had the biggest swing in power rating maybe in the past 5 years in the middle of a season.
I would say week to week, though. Their power ratings week to week are really hard to do because, like I just said, they look like complete dog shit against the Panthers. It was bizarre.
Right. No, that's
And
true.
now he's had back-to-back weeks where I think he's put up more than 30 points, CJ, against.
And look, that Cincinnati game, that defense, by the way, we were pretty high on that defense the past.
Yeah, they're really
weeks.
good.
And so he did something against a defense on the road that was ready to kind of destroy
And they had 3
him.
turnovers. Like, Houston had 3 turnovers and they still won that game.
And that's a top 5 pass rush. Like, grading out as a top 5 pass rush, which leads to Cincinnati's a 3.5-point dog at Baltimore this week. I'm a little worried about Trey Hendrickson. We don't know what happened to him at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So, but Cincinnati getting the hook at Baltimore right now?
It's up to 4, bro. They're bet 365. But I don't know what to do with it because it's a short week. It's a Thursday. And,
the favorites
like we just
usually
said,
cover in those games.
I just hate it that I always favorite the home team on the Thursday because it's a short week. They don't need to travel. That's a big deal when you're trying to heal your body, right? Like, they get to be at home, especially as you get later into the season here. Before today, I probably had this at 3, and now without T. Higgins, and like you said, the Bengals might have some injuries to some key players on their defense. I would say the 4 is about right, Chad. Like, this probably should be 4.5, just because it is such a short turnaround. And the Ravens, they're really good. I know they didn't look it today, right? Their defense didn't show up today, but throughout the season, their defense has been really good. So, what unit do I have more faith in bouncing back after a bad showing between these two defenses? Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens. So, especially them at home. We know how Lamar plays at home compared to on the road. So, not shocking to see that number move up to 4 because, like Chad just said, it was 3.5. Now it's showing 4.
Any other game? So we talked about Pittsburgh. We talked about Arizona quite a bit. Talked about Houston.
I just want to get your initial read on this because I'm obviously biased, but Chiefs minus 2.5 at home against the Eagles.
Yeah, I love the Eagles here.
Thank you. That's my guy. Love them.
I love the Eagles in this spot. I feel like they are performing at a higher level and more comfortable with who they are.
Especially offensively. Right, it feels like offensively they keep getting better and better every week. This Eagles team, where the Chiefs, they've just been spinning their tires now for weeks, but they've luckily been going against subpar competition. Like, Miami should have beat them, right? Doesn't it feel like they stole that game from Miami where they didn't score a single point in the second half, but they still somehow beat Miami, which is crazy.
By the way, there is a +3 available, -105. So I am going to bet that right now before it goes away. And it's gone. It's down to 2.5 again. Literally as I was pressing bet, it changed to 2.5.
Yeah, that's weird. They hung the 3, but I get it, right? The Chiefs at home. We always talk Mahomes at this number. Evan, is it up to 29 or 20-6, whatever it is, right? It was 19-6, I think. Now it's 20-6. I mean, I get it. 26-1. Woo, scary, Chad. But it feels like the Eagles are the better team right now. I was trying not to be biased, so I'm glad my man Chad said it first.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. All right.
It sucks you missed the 3, though. That'd have been nice.
I know, right? Such a tease. Motherfucker. All right. So Eagles +2.5, Pittsburgh +4, Arizona. We're waiting to see if it can get to 6, but you might take the 5.5 right now.
I already did. Yeah, I bet it.
All
I
right,
had
you bet the
someone bet it for
5.5.
me.
I'm curious about Chicago +9. I'm gonna wait to see if I can get a better number. I do feel like with a couple of these games this week, I didn't get the best of the number. I bet too quickly, so I'm gonna try to be a little bit more.
And just be careful, Chad, because there's injuries, brother. Like we're
Yeah.
at the point of the season now where like, I had no idea T. Higgins was going to miss the game this week. And like, that to me was a big deal. So,
Yep.
yeah, definitely, we're getting late into the season here, people. Things change. I definitely bet the way I changed where I bet a lot more now than I did early in the season, but I don't push all that money until Saturday, midday Saturday into Sunday morning, because I want to exactly know who is going to play in every game. And we're at the point of the year where you don't know until that final injury report to really know who's going to play.
Well, that's interesting to me. Like, because I was wondering the same thing. When do I want to start pushing my bankroll a little bit? And you are like you're betting significantly more now than you did before like earlier in the season.
Well, it all depends. Like I told you, my biggest week is week 1, just because I'm able to bet it for 4 or 5 months. I'm able to get a ton of money down. As soon as they open the lines, I can bet it every day if I want, and they'll take the money because why wouldn't the sports books want to sit on your money for 3-4 months? But
Right.
yeah, week 2, week 3, not as much, and then week 4, I started ramping up a little bit. I just remember this year, again, we didn't start coming out of the gate really hot, but I just remember like I noticed it was really favoring the favorites early in the season. And, normally you think that would give me pause, but it didn't. It gave me more confidence to put more money on certain favorites at certain spots. And, one of my biggest bets of the year was that Bills against Miami. The Bills were at the time, they were at home. Miami was, viewed as the best team in football. I think it was just after they beat Denver by 70 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now to date, that's probably my biggest bet. But like, yeah, at this point, yeah, like again, the good example, that Bengals game, that took me 36 hours to buy it off my position because I had already put so much money into the Bengals, and then I have to go back the other side. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So like that's why I'm like not just saying it to chat, I'm saying it to myself, where it's like I gotta stop betting so much early in the week. There's just so many unknowns, and we really don't know who's hurt until Thursday. Once like they're really not practicing, it's like, oh shit, this guy really might not play now. So yeah, just everyone just be careful. It's even for my own self.
Be careful out there. That's all we're saying. As a reminder, the Favorites podcast is presented by Bet365. Bet365 doesn't do ordinary. That's why you get more boosts with them than with anyone else. Every day, they power up the odds on hundreds of bets to give you a chance to win more. Bet365 boosts specific markets, your winnings, and even parlays. And they don't stop there. Keep an eye out for their biggest and best odds with the incredible Super Boost. Check out the boost and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and present in Colorado, Iowa, New Jersey, Ohio, Virginia, or 18 and older in Kentucky. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Terms, conditions, restrictions apply. Listen, folks, we got a live show. Me and Simon, special live Favorites podcast, December 3rd at the Shepherd and the Knucklehead in Hoboken, New Jersey. That's the Sunday show. Doors open around 4 p.m. So come sweat and bet the afternoon games with us. Then we will go live at the Shepherd and the Knucklehead in Hoboken, like when we always do at 7:30 on Sunday night. Live show, December 3rd. Free entry, free drinks. Bet with me and Simon. The info is in the description page for this YouTube episode, or go to eventbrite.com, search the Favorites podcast for more. Also, continue to watch us. Our next live episode on YouTube, Tuesday, 1:45 p.m. Action Network YouTube channel, covering the entire NFL Week 10 board. Download us from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. Rate, review, subscribe, leave us 5 stars, say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Till Tuesday, 1:45 p.m. Eastern. Love you.